Brilliant.
Excellent. I think we are live now and I can see people are joining, which is amazing. Hello, everyone. Greetings from the UK. Thank you so much for joining our webinar today. My name is Dagina Weatherill and I'm the Director of Recruitment within InUni UK division, a company of global university systems overseeing international students recruitment for a number of our UK partner universities. And today I'm extremely excited to talk about one of our premium partner university, Canterbury Christ Church University. You can see beautiful Canterbury Cathedral at my background. And I'm also very excited to be joined by colleagues from the university as well. So today we will be discussing School of Engineering, Technology and Design. And I have Dr. Anne Northcliffe, who is head of the school, and she will talk about the programs offered, the structure, and you would be you would have an opportunity to ask any questions you may have. And we also have Gareth Ward here, who is course director for Business Information Systems. I also have colleagues from InUni, Kasha Krupa, who is Associate Director for Partnerships and Compliance. And I have Arjun and Ankita from InUni Marketing team, helping us to run this webinar smoothly. Before we start, just a few housekeeping rules. You're all on mute. If you'd like to ask any questions, feel free to do so. Just pop them into the Q&A section. So that's Q&A section rather than chat section, and we will take it from there. Other than that, sit back and enjoy, and we hope you find this webinar really useful and inspiring, and I'm sure you will learn a lot from our experts here. The recording will also be shared with you at the end of the webinar in case if you miss anything or would like to share it with your friends or your colleagues if you're an educational agency. So thank you all, and it's over to you, Dr. Anne. Thank you so much for joining us.
Welcome. So I'm going to share my screen with my slides, so just bear with me. So you should now be able to see our slides. So welcome to the School of Engineering, Technology and Design. It was founded in 2018, so we're a brand new facility in the UK providing a new experience. As we've highlighted, we're in the UNESCO site of Canterbury, Kent. Even the institution, the university itself, is on Augustine's Abbey site, which is the oldest abbey site, and one of the churches on campus is the oldest church in the UK. So quite a unique history about the site. We've just celebrated our Diamond Jubilee, and very much the focus of our institution is about on our hands-on approach, applied learning and training and skills development, to emphasise and developing the students so you have the applied skills for graduate and for employment. And we are third in the UK of all the universities in students progressing into graduate employment. So we have a good reputation of developing students into employment. The university facts and figures, so we have 15,000 students, over 1,800 staff. The majority of students are full-time and the majority of students are at Canterbury campus, but we do have other campuses at Medway and Tunbridge, but for the courses we offer in our school, they are only at Canterbury. So the opportunities of why you should be considering a career and studying in technology and engineering, in particularly in the UK, it's been highlighted constantly there's a skills gap for engineering roles, which we are not fulfilling just purely with students from the UK. That it's estimated by the new civil engineer that we need 173,000 engineering graduates every year. At the moment, we have vacancies in every aspect. We know even with COVID, there was a bit of retraction of engineering employment during COVID, but actually in the southeast, so that includes London, Canterbury, Kent, Surrey, Suffolk, Essex, engineering employment has grown by 9.7% and will continue to do so. In technology and in computing, there is 2 million open vacancies within the past year in the UK, so that's phenomenal. And this is roles right through from project management in IT right through to coding. And the UK tech sector is worth $1 trillion to the UK economy. And to place it in context, if you're not aware, the UK is the third most important country in the world for artificial intelligence. What's unique about our school is our USP is that we were very much developing a school that was developed on equality and diversity and inclusion. And the reality is engineering and technology development has been very white male dominated. As a result, it's led to products that are only really fulfill white male marketplace, which means from a business perspective, you are narrowing in very narrow who you're selling your products to. So there's an opportunity, we know from business school, and research has shown that the more diverse and equal and inclusive your business teams are in technology and engineering, the better products that you develop and you increase your bottom line. So it makes sense from a business perspective and it's more sustainable. So we're very unique in the UK because we are the first school that has really focused and developed every aspect of the school with that focus on equality, diversity, inclusion. So that's both in the curriculum and what we deliver, how we support students in group work activities, the staff we've recruited, how we market ourselves. The research is completely ingrained all the way through our business. So how did engineering and the technology school came about? We secured 15.1 million from the UK government and from the South East local enterprise partnership, because there is a huge skills shortage in, as we've been highlighting, in the South East. We are housed in the Verena Holmes building, which she was a entrepreneurial engineer pre-Second World War, and ran her own businesses in Kent. So it's quite fitting that the building is named after, you know, a female engineer. We have created very much purpose-based facilities to support the education and the curriculum up to date and to challenge your learning and applying your learning. We have also implemented the Massachusetts Institute of Technology unique pedagogical approach called CDIO, which means conceive, design, implement and operate. So the advantage of this, both in engineering and the technology courses and computing, is that we're really supporting you to conceive ideas, so reflect observations about the world to come up with a solution, but then practice that and design it out and extract that conceptualized back from the theory to come up with a design solution, experiment with it by implementation, so whether it's coding or developing circuits, right through for the engineers themselves of using the workshops and the makerspace, then actually concretely experiencing, doing it, operating it and reflecting on it and thinking about how you can improve it. So you're moving around this learning circle. So we do this in every aspect in technology and for engineering. Where possible, we typically source those problems from the regional industry. The huge advantage, which means you get a live brief from a client, you interact with that client, you understand them professionally, how does industry UK businesses operate and work, and understanding their requirements and their problems so that you are designing solutions out for them, which gives you a real commercial awareness of working as engineers and technologists and computing professionals ahead of your peers from other universities, because you're having that interaction with industry, and that's really important. Commercial awareness is one of the top 10 graduate skills that industry are seeking from graduates in the UK. What I can highlight is sort of part of that CDI approach. We're educating the whole person. We're developing your technical skills and your employability skills for practice. So we're highly practical, we're encouraging research skills, we've got careers advice, networking, we're developing a new tool to particularly support computing and engineering students for employment, because you have the double-edged sword that you've got to demonstrate both your technical skills and your employability skills in that application process, or as in this case, the sort of video interview process. So we're working and developing in partnership with the students and developing you. These are some of the views from industry. So we've worked with Discovery Park, Barton Marina, Advanced Metals Components, who are a tier 2 supplier to the Ford industry, Cactus Graphics. So for AMC, for the last 2 years, we've been designing, they manufacture locks for Ford cars. Last year, they designed the students designed a award-winning slam lock for the Ford Transit van. Cactus Graphics needed to move to a new industrial facility, and our students designed and identified how many workshops they needed to rent and designed their whole shop floor, and included the risk assessments and the health and safety considerations in the whole of that design for them. So they were able to have a smooth transitional move to the new premises. Undergraduate courses. So we offer BEng, which is a 4-year chemical engineering, 3-year BEng chemical engineering, biomedical engineering, general engineering, mechanical engineering, product design engineering. We also offer with all of these is a built-in foundation year. So builds up your engineering theory, physics and maths. So if you've not had that prior learning to university to support you transitioning into an engineering degree, we will support that learning at foundation level, and then you progress into the first year of the engineering course. I am proud to announce that the chemical engineering, the BEng chemical engineering, is internationally accredited by the Institute of Chemical Engineers, and that came with 2 commendations and no conditions. That is unheard of when it comes to an accreditation. We are working towards accreditation with the IMechE for the biomedical, general, mechanical and product design, and that will be retrospect. So we are working towards that this year, and hopefully that will go as smooth as the Institute of Chemical Engineers. We do offer a placement module as part of the undergraduate programme, but this is, you can utilise your 20 hours allowed working under the visa agreement with the UK to go out and be employed in industry during the academic year of your 2nd year, to provide that placement experience. So you're taking that learning straight from your course into your placement experience, and we've had students do this on the chemical engineering course and some students on the mechanical engineering. On the undergraduate courses, we offer business information systems, computer science, computing, computer forensics, security and software engineering. These are all 3-year degrees, but we also offer them with a placement year, which then becomes a 4-year degree. So it's an integrated placement year where you go out between your 2nd year and 3rd year. We also offer the foundation year level. Again, that's an integrated foundation year, which supplies you again with that computing theory, mathematics knowledge. If you've not had appropriate learning prior to university to support you to progress into a computing related degree. So I've highlighted about that placement year, but the optional placement module for engineering. It's worth noting that all our undergraduate computing courses have no exams. So it's 100% coursework. We will support you as part of that laboratory learning assessment for learning approach of working on those assessments in your laboratory time to support you in doing coursework. So I'm aware that some of you have never done coursework. However, this is great opportunity because you're building a portfolio by doing that coursework of showing your technical skills. You can then video this sort of products you've developed and applications, put them up on your LinkedIn profile, and you can demonstrate to employers that applied skill, your technical skills being applied. which you couldn't do if you did examinations. Engineering, the majority of the courses are coursework, but to satisfy the accreditation for both chemical engineers and mechanical engineers, we have to keep some exams. However, we are challenging and pushing the boundaries on that, because a number of our subject areas now very dependent on doing computational work on computers. So we're looking more and more into digital exams that help and demonstrate your applied skill and that analysis back of using that technology. So the exams are not written. We are moving more into what's appropriate, you being able to demonstrate the skills that you would actually apply in industry, and again build that portfolio of work that can be shown on your LinkedIn profile. So our postgraduate technology and engineering courses, we have an MSc in Advanced Manufacturing Systems and Technology, an MSc in Advanced Manufacturing Systems Technology with Robotics, an MSc in Internet of Things, an MSc in Data Intelligence, and an MSc Data Intelligence with Placement. Sorry, the foundation year shouldn't be on that slide, but all MSCs without placement are 1 year full time, though the MSc Intelligence with Placement is 18 months. The MSc Data Intelligence, we also permit intake in September, but also in the January. Again, you've got taught modules of 20, 40 credits, but part of the MSc, you will do a 60 credit research module. And can I emphasize that 20 credits means 200 hours study time. So that within that 200 hours, you've got your contact time. Typically at MSc level, that with 40 hours scheduled teaching contact time in the classroom, and you need to self-study 160 hours. Again, the MSCs are a combination of coursework and examinations, so in fulfillment for accreditation purposes. But I will say on the MSc Data Intelligence, that is again more 100% coursework. So I'm going to hand over to Gareth, who's going to expand a little bit more about the BSc Honours in Business Information Systems.
Thank you, Anne. So the thing about the Business Information Systems course, it bridges two worlds in effect. So in our school, we've obviously, as Anne has just spoken about, you know, we've got the engineering courses, engineering degrees, we've got the computing degrees, but we also know that many of you will be studying computing or business and business at the same time in your existing studies. And some of you may well be looking for a way to continue your studies, bridging both the world of business and IT or computing and bringing it together. So that's really what this degree is about. So it's aimed at those who wanted to continue to learn around business, around IT, and then look at applying IT concepts in a business setting. So that's mainly who it's aimed for, what the degree is about, what the course is about. So yeah, it is combining those computing elements with business elements. The way we do that is the course is split up so that some of the teaching takes place with us in our school, with our computing academics, with computing students, and some of the aspects of the course are delivered through our business school. The idea is that you get experience and teaching and knowledge from both academics and your peers and students and so on who are in computing and also in business. You develop the language and the understanding about how problems might be approached and solved in one school of thought and how they're approached and solved in another. And you're able to have that dialogue and understanding across both those two worlds, if you want to call it that, between IT and business. One of the key elements really is looking at how we use IT to improve how business operates, so business improvements using IT. So you'll be looking at things possibly including not just IT project management, but project management, again, that uses IT concepts and business concepts. You'll be doing an aspect of data storage and retrieval, because as we know, everything that we do in computing is dependent on the use of some form of data. How do you store it? How do you retrieve it? That could be programmatically, it could be through the database systems themselves. You'll also look at people knowledge and project and product management. So that's kind of pulls in the way that we work with others, really. How do we communicate with others effectively? How do we plan out and arrange, I don't know, meetings, communications, emails? How do you present ourselves as professionals? All those kind of things. that gets all pulled in from the business side of things. So in effect, you become quite a unique individual in the sense that you're able to balance between those two worlds. So the type of roles our students typically go into is either business change management type roles. It could be, as I said already, project management roles, but these are projects that aren't focused just on the delivery of IT or just in the business context, but projects that involve both aspects of an organization. It could be business analyst as well. So even though you might work as a business analyst on the business side of things, not necessarily in IT, you still have an understanding of a logical mindset about how processes are developed and implemented. The computing type logical mindset is an excellent way of just managing how people work and understanding processes in business. So again, it goes hand in hand. It's one of those things that come together quite well. You might not become a software developer, but like we said, you'll be able to understand what the software developers are talking about because you'll have that language from doing that aspect of your study. You might not become, for example, a marketing executive. I mean, you could be an IT marketing executive, but for argument's sake, you became a marketing executive. You'll still be able to understand how people in marketing talk about the challenges they face and then solve their problems using IT because your IT mindset. So again, just repeating the thing about the coursework, there's no traditional exams. It's all either portfolio or coursework based, project based. I mean, the idea is that basically we assess in a way that aligns with how you would work in industry. Now, as you know, if you was working in industry, you wouldn't sit in a room and do an exam, right? You would have a problem to solve and you'd use whatever resources and knowledge are available in your personal toolkit. So it could be looking online, it could be using existing resources, it could just be talking to your peers, your co-workers and so on. But how do we do that, And so that's how we assess, and that's across the board, across all of our courses. So yeah, hopefully that's been interesting. As I said, it's a unique course because it pulls together the two separate schools of thought. And if you are sat there thinking, well, I've done a bit of business, I've done a bit of IT, I want to do something that brings these two worlds together and get a dedicated qualification, of course. It's not a combined honours degree, it is a dedicated qualification that you'll get at the end of this as well. So hopefully that's been useful. I'll pass back to Anne.
Thank you. So the slides didn't progress at this point because we were talking about the business information systems course. I will now progress to the next slide. So we're emphasising again about that computing assessment. So, no exams, we're about supporting you, and this is kind of variety. We should say we collectively also added in part of our, so we're still, majority of our learning will be face-to-face and on campus, and part of the visa requirements you will need to be attending, but we've also provided opportunities as well for blended learning approach of occasionally in certain modules where it's appropriate to support your learning. We will flip and do online lectures, online activities, because as we're doing it here, hybrid or blended online, the reality is the workplace has not gone back to face-to-face. It is very much a hybrid mix. A lot of people go into work only 1-2 days a week, right across the sector in the UK, but across the world. And people are doing this blended hybrid kind of work. In reality, in IT, in computing, the industry's been doing it for 12, 15 years now. So in actual fact, this is the norm. So it's important as part of that course, we still do this bit of hybrid working with you and hybrid learning, because you need to learn to switch on your cameras. You need to learn to talk to camera. You've got to have that confidence to work online, be able to how do you professionally communicate in the chat facility, but also then on your emails, and how do you manage your time when you're not in the office environment and you're working in isolation. So we have very much designed that curriculum to support that approach and going forward. Academic support, so I'm the head of school. We have the Director of Engineering is Dr. Labadahi Ahmed, and the Director of Computing is Scott Turner. The Engineering Research and Innovation Lead is Dr. Hani Hassan, and Computing Research and Innovation Lead is Dr. Li Shi Zhang. Our technical team lead is Damien Marsh, and showing we're living and breathing the equality and diversity inclusion. So all our staff who teach, so that's both technicians, the academic staff, and we have postgraduate students who also contribute in laboratory time with students and support you. 35% of our staff is female, which is pretty much unheard of in the sector. And this is engineering and computing. And 48% of our staff are Black and Asian. So you have really the mirror image as well of seeing the potential career developments within the academic community. Our research interest is very much in Industry 4, moving on to 5, additive manufacturing, robotics, sustainability is very much at the heart of this as well, artificial intelligence, visual analytics, Internet of Things, both medical Internet of Things and cybersecurity, which is every country, every business is absolutely super critical. Student support, so you will receive a dedicated academic personal tutor who will support you and help you navigate the university systems, but also understanding the transitional different approach to learning that you will experience in the UK, and how you approach that with coursework, etc. You've got a dedicated course director. So in this case, you've got Gareth from Business Information Systems, but also we have the MSCs as well. Within the university itself, there's plenty of support, personal guidance, academic advice, financial support, health and wellbeing, student counselling service and disability support, and placement support. Can I emphasise, students who have a disability, we encourage you to declare, because in the UK, under the Equality Act 2010, we have to provide additional support for you with a disability. And you will get a learning support plan, and that may lead to reasonably adjusted assessments or additional time for your assessments as well. So don't be afraid. I'm neurodiverse, I declare it, I'm dyslexic, I'm aware of my limitations, but also some of my strengths because of being dyslexic. So we prefer it being honest and upfront, and we work and support each other. To highlight the advantages of being neurodiverse, so in engineering and technology, employers are seeking to employ neurodiverse staff. They realise the contribution we can make, and we tend to be very much creative and problem solvers. And the US has known this for years. So the last 30 years in the tech industry, they have really emphasised employing people with neurodiversity because it brings something to the team. Student voice, these are some of the examples of our student feedback of the experience they've been gaining. So Angrisi is an international student from Zimbabwe, Zambia. So you can see they've really enjoyed being pushed and developed and stretched in their learning as part of their curriculum. And thank you. I will stop sharing, and you can feel free to ask us any questions.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Dr. Anne and Gareth. Really, really useful information, and I'm sure many students will find it inspiring to come and study at Canterbury Christ Church University soon. Just before we start taking questions, I wanted to reiterate to our educational agencies, partners, but also to students who might have already applied but are yet to provide outstanding documents. Please ensure you submit your outstanding documents via GAS InUni portal or via your educational advisor as soon as possible, because the volume of applications this year is very, very high. So the deadlines might be brought forward at any point. So we do encourage you to submit any new applications if you haven't submitted them yet, providing full package of documents ideally, and also providing your outstanding documents if you've already received an offer but are yet to provide those. Please book your consultation sessions with my team on the ground at the soonest to avoid any disappointment, because it's getting really, really busy and we don't want you to miss out on your place at Canterbury Christ Church University. If you have received your unconditional offer letter already, you need to start making your deposit payment arrangements and precast interview arrangements if you haven't done so. Great news, Canterbury Christ Church University has already started issuing CASs from the end of March. We already received few students' CASs and they are successfully applying for visas as well. So if you already have your documents prepared for CAS, we do encourage you to submit your CAS request at the soonest. Like I mentioned, the deadlines can be brought forward at any point. So we don't want you to miss out on CAS. As you know, in the UK, every university has a limited number of spaces, but also CASs. So we want to make sure you secure your place at the earliest. Receive your CAS 6 months prior to the start date. You can already apply for your visa as well, which obviously saves you on paying additional cost if you're applying last minute. Also, waiting time is much better right now than it will be in summer, as you can imagine. And once you've secured your visa, you can obviously book your flights, which will save you money as well. If you don't have to book it last minute. You can also start booking accommodation already. So as soon as you secure your CAS, we do encourage you to book your accommodation even before you receive your visa, because visa success rate is very close to 100% so far. But even if you don't receive visa for some reason, you will be provided with a refund of £100 roughly for your accommodation deposit. So yes, exciting that the university is already issuing CASs, so please secure your place as soon as possible to avoid disappointment. Let's look into questions. And just one more thing to reiterate, those who are in a process of arranging payment, please do not forget you need to use Canterbury Christ Church University ID, which is specified within your unconditional offer letter. So please do not pay until you received your unconditional offer letter from the university itself, and use that ID only, not any other ID, not your passport number or any other information as your payment reference. So it's Canterbury Christ Church University ID specified within your unconditional offer letter for your payment reference, please, to avoid any delays with your payment allocation, and obviously further process like CAS and securing your pre-CAS interview slot as well if you haven't done so yet. And I guess I wanted to start with my question first, if that's okay. You mentioned the data intelligence postgraduate degree has an option of work placement, which is amazing. I'm sure many international students would like to benefit from it. So just to confirm on that, that's 18 months program.
Yes, so if you do with the placement, you will need to, it will be 18 months. So please do refer to our websites to understand the length, because it's really important when you apply for your visa, that course, that you're putting down the right amount of time, because the visa will be only issued for the right amount of time. So you must pay attention to the information that's provided on the website and the guidance that's given to you from the university. I noticed there's a question about entry requirements. So again, can I refer you to the websites for every course to understand the entry requirements? If you haven't got the appropriate mathematics or physics, notice maths or physics learning that is equivalent to with the UK's A level, which is known as the level 3 in the UK, you will be recommended for a foundation year. So typically Northern Africa, India, your qualifications 16 to 18 is not equivalent to our level 3, so we'll be recommended in the foundation year. If you've studied a STEM degree or a near STEM degree, then you would be considered for any of the MSCs. They've been designed to support people to convert to engineering or convert to a technology MSc, the data intelligence, and we've got the MSc in Internet of Things. So it's about supporting people to progress to an engineering career. So we mentioned about tuition fees. So again, please refer to the website about the tuition fees, and that provides all the information you need to know about for international tuition fees and the scholarships that can be offered.
Absolutely. Thank you, Anne. And just to add to that, the tuition fees at Canterbury Christ Church University are already quite competitive. So it's mainly 14,500 for most of undergraduate and postgraduate. Obviously, for undergraduate, it's per year. On top of that, Canterbury Christ Church University also offers a very generous scholarship of £1,500. So your tuition fee actually comes down to £13,000 only, which I think for the UK is very, very good offering. And there is also a question on deposits. So currently it's £5,000 to secure your CAST letter. Obviously, the higher tuition fee you pay, or the higher amount you pay towards your tuition fee, shall I say, helps you to reduce that headache of showing outstanding fees on your bank account for CAST and visa purposes. So if you're able to obviously pay in one go, which will also save you on the bank transfer fees, I guess, you can do so, and then you can only show living cost amount on your bank account. But the very, very minimum accepted for CAST deposit is £5,000 for pretty much all programs apart from standalone foundation program, which requires full fee prior to CAST issuance. But the foundation programs Dr. Anne covered earlier today are all integrated ones, which means they come on one CAST. You're applying for visa of 4 years instead of just 1 year for foundation, and that foundation is within the undergraduate category, meaning the minimum deposit would be £5,000 as well to secure your CAST. And in terms of entry criteria, yes, as Dr. Anne mentioned, you can have a look at CCCU website. There is a number of English tests that the university accepts, but also depending where you come from, there could be some qualifications from your home country that are being accepted. For example, recently CCCU added a Kerala board being accepted as a proof of English if you reach at least 70%. And there are also other boards if you come from India, for instance. But apart from that, university also accepts a range of online English tests. So for example, I know in Pakistan, English tests like language cert is popular, which you can do online, but also the center. You can also take Oxford International English test that Canterbury Christ Church University still accepts. So there is a range of tests are being accepted. If you have any doubts, you can always reach out to my team on the ground or your relevant advisor, and they can obviously guide you further on the entry criteria and specific qualifications that are being accepted for your chosen program. Yeah.
In answer to the question about the ordinary national diploma in Nigeria, that is equivalent to what we call level 3 A-levels, but it needs to have the appropriate learning in maths or physics. So we would look very closely at what you've been studying to see whether you'd be offered direct entry to level 4 or whether you'd be offered entry to the foundation year.
Brilliant. Thank you, Dr. Anne. That's really, really helpful to know. I can see there are some questions in regards with specific cases. So if you have already passed your consultation session with one of my team members, do reach out to your advisor or a relevant team member on your specific case. So if you still need to submit outstanding documents, they will be guiding you as to which documents exactly you need to provide to secure your unconditional offer letter. If you have provided, obviously then they will follow up with the relevant team on your unconditional offer letter status, and we can go from there. If you have received your unconditional offer letter, please start arranging your deposit, as I mentioned, and the precast interview slot as well. In case if you are having any issues with booking your precast interview within CCCU applicant portal, do reach out again to your advisor or relevant team member, and they will be able to help you further and to look into your specific case. Okay, I can see there is a question in regards with study gap. I guess the good news about Canterbury Christ Church University doesn't discriminate on the age, so each individual case would be considered on a case-by-case basis. So, for example, if you have completed your qualification some time ago and you have an extensive work experience, you just need to obviously justify it within your CV. So you need to provide an up-to-date CV, supply relevant reference letters, explain within your personal statement how your chosen course will enhance your career perhaps, and the university would be happy to look into your case further. So there is no restrictions as to how many years study gap is required, which is great because we have students who are fresh graduates, but also students who are more mature, you know, sitting in one class, learning from each other. Yeah, so it's a great experience for everyone.
I was going to pick up, we've had two saying about, I passed my consultation on the 20th of March, but I've only just received my unconditional offer. In reality, because all your documentation has to be checked to be compliant with the UK VI, this is going to take time. So it can't happen just like that. So please bear with us. We normally, it's the same about, you know, we do for assessment feedback, we say within, you know, 3 weeks, but please be aware it's not a straightforward thing of checking this. So it does take time. So you have now received the offer, but it also gets longer if you haven't supplied everything that you have been asked to supply.
Excellent. That's really helpful, Dr. Anne, and I couldn't agree more. Please also keep in mind that day by day, the volume of applications is increasing, which is great, but that also means that obviously it's an increase for the admissions team as well, and that's obviously affecting turnaround time. I can see there is a question about turnaround time for the application. So once you've submitted your application via GAST Gateway portal or via, I guess, your education advisor, normally we aim to issue your offer letter or at least initial registration confirmation within 5 to 7 working days. But again, like I said, depending on the time of the year and the closer we get to the intake, the longer this turnaround time might become. So please submit your application at the soonest if you haven't done so. And then as soon as you've submitted the outstanding documents, and please ensure whenever you file an application, you provide a complete package of documents. So that obviously includes your educational qualification, proof of English, your up-to-date CV is very, very important. Up-to-date CV needs to be provided, your reference letters, etc. In case if you're still in education, so you're waiting for your final year bachelor's degree or maybe high school, or you're waiting for proof of English, we could look into exceptional cases, but do ensure you submit your current transcripts at least, and then we can look into that. But the main guideline is to obviously provide your full package of documents, because my team wouldn't necessarily be able to book a consultation with you until have provided all documents and they meet the requirements. Once that's done, once the assessment has been made on your case and the consultation is passed, we can then obviously progress your case further for the unconditional. We do not charge any application fees, which is great, but we do encourage to submit obviously full file at the soonest. I can see there is a question in regards with backlogs. We don't have any requirement around that, as long as students obviously have completed and successfully passed the previous qualification and they can provide their final certificates and transcripts. We're happy to look into that. I think it's more for US universities that have restrictions on that specific backlog item. All right, if you have any further questions, you have an amazing opportunity to ask it now to our great academics, and they will be happy to look into that. So again, I consider questions coming up in regards with specific qualifications. So if you're you would need to reach out again to your relevant advisor just to understand which qualification can be accepted. In regards with WIC, we do accept WIC, but do speak to my team on the ground, perhaps to understand the overall requirement for your chosen course, or if IELTS needs to be provided, and they can take it from there. I just wanted to ask in regards with placement for both undergraduate and obviously the postgraduate placement option, is there an additional fee that students would need to pay if
Yeah,
there
is an institutional placement fee, and we'll need to refer to the website associated with that.
Excellent. Okay, perfect. That's very good to know. I can see from the website there is some information provided, and from what I can see, it's under 2,000, I think, pounds, which is great. I think it's very competitive comparing to other UK universities. And from what I remember when I met Canterbury Christ Church University Career Services Department, they're really, really helpful in finding those placements, and obviously looking at student CVs when they arrive. Students are also welcome to join career fairs and register their interest with potential employers. I guess it's a great way to kind of start promoting yourself from day one when you get to the university, and meet potential employers there as well. There is also help for students with finding part-time jobs at the university, so definitely reach out to Career Services Department once you've arrived at Canterbury Christ Church University. If you haven't done so, please share your questions within Q&A section, and we will take it from there. I can see there is a question on disabilities. If you would like to take that question, Dr. Ann.
Right, under the Equality Act 2010, there is no disabilities that cannot be declared. So if you have mental health issues, that is recognised under the disability. So what I'm saying is it is different to other countries. We recognise all types of disabilities, and there is appropriate learning support plans, whether it's a physical disability or a learning disability within that. We do not discriminate. This is a very different cultural approach, and it's recognising that everybody has a valid and contribution to be made, both in the learning environment but also in the work environment.
Excellent, that's really good. Thank you. Perfect. Let me just check in case if we missed any further questions. I just was wondering, in terms of the, I guess it also depends on the program, but on average, what's the class size for both the UG and PG?
Right, so postgraduate, so our facilities are designed, the classrooms, the computing rooms, the engineering laboratories, etc., are designed for up to 40 students in that space. For the practical based learning, and you will be supported by 2 people in there, an academic and usually a postgraduate. So we're doing that sort of 1:20 ratio. Lecture theatres capacity up to 100 plus, and you'll have a single academic in there. So as I say, you know, class size can vary anything from 20 to 40 because of that ratio of 1 staff member to 20 students.
Excellent, that's really good to know. And do students also have support from personal tutor during that program?
So that's what their personal academic tutor is. They'll be assigned that, they'll have regular meetings and learning to support that, to provide them support.
Excellent. And I would assume foundation class sizes are probably even smaller to offer that extra support, or?
No, so we still work as a 40 and 2 people in there, and that, right. But they are so in engineering they will be timetable 60 hours, because to give them more support in computing, they're timetabled up to 50 hours.
Excellent. And how many days a week would students need to
So
attend?
normally, typically, we try to timetable over 3 days. So that gives the flexibility of 2 days working part-time.
Oh, excellent. That's a good that's a good point, I guess, for international students, especially whether they're benefiting from optional placement that you've highlighted earlier or doing part-time job. Obviously, they have this opportunity still to work around their
So yes, we do recommend that students both in engineering and technology-based courses that they invest in a good high-spec laptop. Particularly to be able to support Microsoft Visual Studio, GitHub, etc. For engineering, you need to be able to support ANSYS software and console software and AutoCAD.
That's really good to know. Perfect. Thank you so much. I think we've covered most of the questions, but in case if we missed any of your questions, please do reach out to my team on the ground or your educational advisor, and we will be happy to help. As I mentioned earlier, the recording will be shared with you later on. Please stay tuned for more webinars to come. We try to run at least one webinar a week on Canterbury Christ Church University. If you are a student, we look forward to welcoming you at the university this September. If you are an educational agency, we look forward, I guess, to receiving your students' applications and outstanding documents. As I mentioned earlier, just to reiterate to those who joined later on, and the university has already started issuing CASs, so please submit your outstanding documents, book consultations, book your pre-CAS interviews, arrange deposit payments at the soonest to avoid any disappointments later on. As we know, the number of spaces at Canterbury Christ Church University, like any other UK university, is limited. So we don't want you to miss out on a great opportunity to study at Canterbury Christ Church University. Thank you once again, Dr. Anne. Thank you, Gareth. Thank you, everyone, for joining. And have a lovely day, I guess. And those who celebrate Easter, have a lovely Easter break. See you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
There's just one last question. Somebody's asked, could you tell us about the classes scheduled in a week? So it will vary. As I say, it's 3 days, usually typically 3 days a week. So you could be in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you could be in Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or you could be in Monday and then Thursday, Friday. It will depend on how the timetable is pulled together. It varies from the academic year to year.
Excellent. Well spotted. Thank you so much, Dr. Anne. Really, really helpful. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye. Bye.